Make me an insight check.
Mm-hmm. That is a 12.
A 12?
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them seem too interested in going into detail about what they, like, speculation on what Lord Randus may or may not do. They politely veer the conversation away from that topic. You get the sense that speaking very openly about that might be detrimental here in the hall.
Mm-hmm. I guess what I want to do, basically, my thinking now is, now that Randus knows the Celtics are gone, he's just going to basically try to just say that my duchy is his duchy.
He already did that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But so the face that you're presenting to this couple, like, are you complaining about it? Are you trying to weasel out of it? Are you
no,
trying to get them?
I'm trying to gauge like who in this hall is not necessarily actually a friend of Lord Randus.
Over the conversation with these two, uh, perhaps these are not the people you're looking for after all, because their son is about to marry his ward in a wedding located here in his hall.
Mm-hmm. I was hoping that maybe because they were gossipy, they would tell me something, but it doesn't seem like.
Not about Lord Randus specifically, no. There's lots of other people around. I guess the question is, what is Evie's goal here? Is her goal to find somebody who's willing to work with her against Randus?
I mean, I don't want to do that here. That seems dangerous. I'm trying to identify who someone like that might be.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go up to him and say, "Hey, you want to collaborate against to overthrow your lord?" I'm not gonna do that. But I'm trying to see who in this hall maybe. We know that probably everyone in this entire region probably has some kind of conflict with them, but depends who the people who have like the both hate Lord Randus and have possibly like the strength to do something.
So Elic is a good lord's man. He's not going to give you anybody's name. That becomes very apparent very quickly. But you know who he does point out is around this time in the evening, at the very, very back end of the hall, where there are just servants, like smaller servants' tables that are being set up nearest to the doors. He points out to Tala, sitting in her cloak, says, I heard that her lady Calaris has been placed over the kennels. Can you believe it?
Oh, what an indignity.
It would be funny, except, of course, the old dowager has a deathly allergy to dogs.
Oh, how tragic.
And you can tell that, like, Elic knows how she's been displaced. And he thinks it's delightful. He's been making mock of it all night. Lady Calaris is not due to arrive until late tomorrow.
All right. I guess I'll go talk to Tatala.
Okay. Victor.
Yes.
You also notice as Leorna is dragged away down the hall, you turn and you see Evie walking towards Tatala, and as she approaches, Tatala sets her mug on the table and turns to leave the hall herself and head back down into the village. The question is, are the two of you following her down or not?
Victor is going to follow her down.
I'll follow her. She doesn't. Whatever she wants to say, she doesn't want to say here.
Victor is going to sneakily follow her, at least try to.
She's headed down towards the beer house. That seems to be her destination. As far as Edmont and Ekon and Jeannie, the three of you, are you heading back down to the beer house after you're done with your evening actions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then all of you would converge in the common room there, which is very lively and packed this time of night. It seems to be a much more pleasant atmosphere in general than the hall was. I don't have a map for the beer house, so I will just put this on the table. And then I will delete this. Haha.
Aha!
Tatala enters, flags down one of the serving wenches, has another mug of ale brought out. She finds a place near one of the counters to stand and lean. And after a few moments, Victor and Evie enter. And you're all there now, in the same place. Very convenient for me.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so what's next?
I would like to talk to her.
Okay.
You said this place is packed. What is Jeannie wearing?
What?
What?
How can this possibly be relevant? Are you going to throw rotten cabbage at her?
I might.
I didn't throw a single rotten cabbage at you.
That's true. Evie,
Yes.
approaching Tatala, she sees you come up. She's one hand on her mug. The other hand, she has her staff in the crook of her arm, and her hand is tucked away inside of her cloak. So I noticed your audience with Lord Randus today.
Mm-hmm.
She says under her breath, she was not in the room for your audience with Lord Randus today.
But she noticed it. Did she talk about like she was there, but she wasn't there?
You did not see her there. She was not in the hall. She's very noticeable. She stands out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. So I did not see you in the hall when that happened.
And she takes a drink of her ale. I wasn't in the hall. I was nearby.
You seem to be a woman of very diverse talents.
She looks over her mug at your companion sitting across the room. Says, those three are staying here at the beer house?
That's my understanding.
We should retire to their quarters where we can speak privately.
I agree.
I don't know what Jeannie's wearing, man. Hula skirt and go-go boots?
No. She's just wearing her normal clothes.
Does she have shoelaces?
No. Her boots are slip-on. We have already... Listen, we're at a stalemate currently. Or did you not get back at me for throwing rocks?
I haven't gotten back to you for throwing rocks yet. Don't worry, it's coming.
All right, we're just trying to keep score here.
I'm imagining that Jeannie's boots have like little ratcheting clasps she built herself.
Probably
That's
for this
okay.
exact reason.
Evie is starting to lead Tatala in the direction of the room you guys were given here in the beer house.
Edmont will retire to that room.
I'll stand up and follow.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a quick scan for magic in this room, which I didn't do earlier, but I don't think we were really talking about anything in here.
Other than your companions and the stuff that Tatala's wearing, you don't detect anything.
Yeah.
What about in the room when we get in there?
Well, I thought that's what Ekon was asking about.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, seems more pretty much safe here in the beer house.
I thought he was doing the beer hall.
Yeah, either or.
Okay.
That's the beauty of detect magic. You can just do it anywhere all the time. It's just free. Even in standard
Brother,
rules, it's free. It just takes 10 minutes every time you want to do it.
Brother, I have something a little distressing to share with you once we have the room to ourselves.
Oh, Ekon mentioned that you wanted me to look at something?
Yeah, but once we have the room to ourselves.
Okay.
So you guys join Evie and Tatala in the room.
Yep.
Tatala produces an old bound scroll from inside of her cloak. You recognize the sealing wax on the scroll, which has been broken long, long time ago. as being the seal of Ozlin Rex. The same wax was affixed to the contract that you guys had him draw up for you before you left Castle Avernus. The first thing she says is that, pardon me if I'm being intrusive, but am I to take that you are from the lands beyond the mists?
We are not native to the lands of Darkon.
Nonetheless, you can read Darkonese.
Yes.
We learned it after arriving here.
Are you sure you want me to share this with you?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't we want you to share it with us?
It may be better for all of you to live in ignorance, to not know what this scroll contains, to attend the wedding, to have too much to drink.
Are you going to show us a scroll that says what's his face isn't actually in charge?
She shakes her head.
Ignorance is not one of the tenets of our house.
Very
Quite
well.
the opposite, actually.
Yeah.
What I've come to learn in Darkon is that knowledge is the source of all trouble. And she reaches forward with the scroll, kind of in between Evie and Victor, because she's unclear which one of them wants to grab it more.
Victor's eyes are salivating.
That's called crying. Those are tears.
Jean, eyes are salivating.
I heard that. That was amazing. I love it.
Oh my god.
Who takes the scroll?
Victor will try.
Yeah, she'll hand it to you.
Evie's not going to fight you for it.
Yeah, Victor will take it and then put it down so we can all read it.
And it's a contract, much like the one you signed. Much older, though. About 40 years, perhaps, given the date. It's actually mandated in the Ravenloft book what the current year is, but I don't have it to hand right now. But this would be 40 years prior to that, where Lord Randus looks like he made the same deal with Aslan that you did. He arrived in the mists. He commanded powerful magic that Aslan noticed. He was granted lands and dominions over a large, unruly, northernly province of Darkon, which includes the lands that he gave you.
Where did you
Randus
get this?
Was not bluffing. She says, I was asked by Yvonne to find something about your family.
Yvonne?
Or lady?
Lady Carol.
Oh, yeah, Edmont pointedly asked that because it's like you spoke her name. Are you on a first name basis with her?
She says, I believe at this point we can drop pretense.
Certainly very much. Victor, you're no longer a servant. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, I've been promoted back to noble. Thanks. Anyway,
she says that Yvonne brought her into her service a year or so ago for protection, mainly. And she taps her magical staff against the ground. Yvonne doesn't know that I took the position as pretext to get closer to Lord Randus.
Mm-hmm. So who are you really?
Well, I
And
told
what
you
you are.
true. My name is Tatala. Randus and I served the same master once on the other side of the mists.
Really?
You know him.
do you want him dead or do you just want his lands?
You don't look. Does she look to be in her 60s?
No.
I said, you don't look like you came to this land 40 years ago.
Oh, I didn't mean to mislead you. No, this is my first time in Darkon. I've only been here for a year or two in Yvonne's service.
She didn't say they served the same master concurrently.
But we did 40 years ago.
So he served the same master that you did at the same time as you did.
She nods. That's correct. But not here in Darkon.
So who is this
Time is
master?
weird. Genie, time is weird. It's okay.
She says that she would not burden you with her master's name.
Time is not weird. Time is time, and I will die on that hill.
Can we have this conversation later?
Sorry.
She's being very, very polite, letting you guys bicker about the philosophical nature of time in the middle of your conversation. I want to try
Genie
that one
will
day. Just have a
apologize.
D&D conversation, like, just right in the middle, like everybody's hanging out or something, and...
Genie will apologize and look kind of bashful.
I'm at a disadvantage because I don't know the nature of Azzelin's interest in all of you, which is to say I don't know your magic the way that I know Randus's.
None of these lands do, apparently.
Do you mind if I answer this question?
Well, she says this because she doesn't know how much to reveal in a way that you could understand.
Are you suggesting that Aslan is bringing people here for their magic?
I mean, that seems pretty obvious on its face. It's what's to be told is true of our Lord's hosts.
She hasn't had the pleasure of meeting Aslan Rex. She has not been to Castle Avernus, but she thinks that Edmont has the right of it. That's been her conclusion as well.
Well, I would appreciate it if you tried to explain the magic to us. My cousin and I have a pretty between the two of us, we have a very broad magical education.
She nods. She says, "You've sat in the presence of Aslan Rex. You have felt his presence and his power.
Right, scary sorcerer king, yes.
And you can imagine that he is able to give magical gifts to others. It's my understanding that he does not do this, but he could, should he desire it."
She's obviously describing. Are we familiar with how common were warlocks in Gran Francisco?
In the Republic, warlocks
Yeah.
would be people who made pacts with unseelie creatures. This would be very unchurchly behavior.
So it does happen.
Oh,
But
yes.
Which would also mean that Ekon probably has some knowledge about it from, this whole heretic hunter. That, like, he would at least understand the concepts.
There would be a strong overlap between, Ekon's work as an inquisitor and both warlocks and sorcerers in the Republic for exactly that reason.
Yeah.
They're not getting their magics from the church. Where are they getting them from? They're obviously heretics.
Not from the church, not from a book.
We have something similar where we come from.
So imagine Aslan has granted people these abilities, using myself and Lord Randus as an example, with the understanding that our master is not Aslan. I hope I'm not being confusing.
I think
You
I
have
follow.
yes, you've signed a contract with some powerful being who has granted you magical powers.
So you can imagine that 40 years later, if one of these people that has received magical gifts from Aslan Rex has forgotten his master and needs to be reined in.
Forgotten.
I see. No.
No.
This guy's worshiping Aslan now instead of his old patron. I understand where she's
They're-
coming from.
It's
ahead.
interesting because there were texts that suggested that perhaps a blessing like that couldn't be taken back. Unlike, say, if you displeased a god, you could no longer be the instrument of your god. But
You use the term forgotten. Does he not recognize you?
Or do you mean taken for granted?
He did not recognize me when I stepped into his hall, although I do admit I am being deceiving. It would not serve my master's purpose to be recognized straight away.
Certainly not.
If you'll forgive me, back to the point, do you want him dead or do you want his lands?
Well, and she looks at Evie now. I approached your good Duchess because it was my inference that perhaps you would want him dead.
But clearly he is abusing his people quite badly. He is stealing resources that rightfully belong to my people, and although he may technically have a legal right to tax me, I have no desire to give money to a man like that.
I mean, the question is like which of the two, legally speaking, which of the two contracts supersedes the other? I would say that the newer contract supersedes the older one. Because obviously
probably the opposite is true, honestly.
Does Victor have any indication of that from his survey?
Whichever contract wins is the one that Aslan Rex decides that wins when you ask him.
Yeah, Victor, you're thinking about it. It's less of a concern of which contract supersedes the other, and more of a concern of how would you enforce it. The only authority you can appeal to is Aslan Rex, and do you really want to bother him with his weak school shit?
No, he could tax us if we let him tax us, basically. That seems to be how it works. So you can say, come and take it. But he probably has an army and we don't, so we need a better solution than just to tell him to go screw off.
Yeah, murder sounds good.
Pack sand.
So Genie says out loud, murder sounds good.
Hang on, I'm not
Sounds
saying...
like Genie.
I'm not convinced that's the right way.
Tatala holds up her hand. Murder's a very strong and unpleasant word. Removal of an unseemly obstacle, undeserving of his position.
Murder.
No, we're talking about liberating his people.
With murder.
When it's political, Genie, I believe it's actually assassinate.
Well,
assassination.
I think liberating his people, like liberating them so that what can happen? So that his people can start fighting amongst themselves. The lords and vassals under him would just probably start fighting each other.
No, obviously they need a firm hand of leadership, and I feel like our friend here has somebody in mind already.
You're motioning to Tatala?
Yeah.
If you're speaking of the Lady Calaris, she is old and has no progeny, but she has friends at court, and she has clout, that political capital that could be spent. Of course, she cannot know that we've had any hand in Lord Randus's untimely death.
Certainly not.
I have a few more questions about the magic, if you don't mind. What kind of being gave you this power? Where we're from, it's generally... my understanding, Brickroad, is it's generally Fae that give that kind of power.
I would just stick with Unseelie.
Okay, it's just generally like...
Basically, any possible warlock patron from all the books that you would have been allowed to roll up at character creation could all fall under that umbrella in one way or another.
Yeah.
So,
and what are your capabilities?
She says it's hard to explain exactly, but it's, for our purposes, it's probably enough to think of my master as a man in a position similar to Aslan Rex's, though greater in scope and possibility.
He's not a tree, is he?
She laughs a little bit. Says, no, he's not a tree.
Alright.
Are you a servant of one of the lords from outside Darkon?
She nods. So that would be fair to say. If I may, I don't think it advances our goals anymore to speak on the subject of my master. I'm not at liberty to say.
Very well. Nothing more need to be said then.
So, how are you planning to do it?
I'm not planning to do anything at the moment. I'm sitting here trying to think of what our next move should be.
Of course.
We just got here.
Yeah, I mean, talking to him, I could see after about 2 minutes that was just going to go nowhere. There was no point in even trying.
She motions to the scroll that Victor's holding. The scroll's absence will be noted when Lord Randus repairs to his rooms this evening. Would you like me to return it, or does noticing its absence fall in line with something you can use?
I say we
I
keep
think we
it.
keep it.
Yeah,
Hang on.
and I'll motion to it for Victor. I have I have a good hiding spot,
Victor will roll the scroll up and hand it to Genie.
and I stick it in the bag of holding.
Okay.
Because that's never failed before.
One time, Ekon, just one time.
And it happened because somebody destroyed the bag. Like,
I mean, it's not my fault that the metaphysical mechanics of this reality are different than what I was expecting. You cannot take that into account.
Okay, so
You should always take that into account.
back up a step. What is it that you guys think would go well if we have this scroll?
He will
Well,
be in a tizzy, right?
so not
Maybe
just
it opens it might open up an opportunity.
You missed it at the dinner, but even his guards make fun of him. There's obviously dissent within his own household, not to mind the city, if judging by the people that were at the pillory.
Oh, I
The
know.
question is, who will he immediately blame when he goes missing?
Probably the person who is found to have the scroll, which would be us.
You're assuming we'd be found with it. That would be stupid.
You're assuming that this man who we know has some kind of power cannot locate it?
We could plant the scroll.
Lady Evelyn does have a point. Yes.
I mean, the chances of him being able to find it in this are pretty slim.
If you're that worried about it, we don't have to keep it on a person. We can simply leave it someplace or plant it on somebody. Perhaps we could plant it on his most trusted servant. Or in his room.
Or we could destroy it. No scroll, no writ of ownership means that our contract supersedes his.
Could we destroy it?
With respect, Evelyn King made a copy of our contract with him, did he not?
Yep.
He did,
Then it
yes.
stands to reason that he would have copied his as well.
Are you going to go? Do you think he would go speak to that to Azul Rex and be like, "I'm sorry, sir. It's been 40 years, but I seem to have lost my contract."
I'm sure Aslan has a room that's just filled, like, I'm thinking like one of those 3-story libraries, and it's just all contracts.
Yeah, and he just like chunks them in there. They're just in a pile.
No, he's got them very neatly filed, I'm sure.
I think.
Talana, what
He
happens
knows
if he...
exactly where every single one of them is.
Listen.
What happens
second question?
tomorrow... Talana, what happens tomorrow if Randus is known to be dead among his nobles? Those that swear fealty to him.
he has a son by his third wife. The young boy, Drala. I suppose he would be given the title of Lord, whether he would be challenged or whether he would treat his peasantry in a more amenable way to yourselves. I couldn't say.
What happens if
Was
his
that
whole
the boy
family's
he was
found dead?
sitting to his hand
Yes.
earlier tonight? Okay.
And what if some other local noble were to take said boy under their wing as a ward until they were to come of age?
Oh, he's too old for that. He's already 13 or 14 years old.
Okay.
So he would be Lord in his own right. He's old enough for that.
Yeah, and in a year or two would be appropriate for him to marry, so the main way to challenge, probably some factioning would happen. Without Randus keeping everything together, you probably have some nobles who are like, oh, we'll just get this kid married to my daughter and form an alliance. You get other nobles saying, oh, this 13-year-old kid who doesn't know anything is sitting on the big chair. Let's just kill him and take over. Any number of things could happen. It could be chaos.
It sounds like that if it becomes not our problem.
Who is his biggest rival at the moment?
You asking Tatala?
Yeah. Who is Ornandus' biggest rival or opponent?
Chuckles to herself, says, I am inclined to believe it is the Duchess Evelyn Veritas.
Edmont nods.
And what do you think he will do to his biggest rival?
She shrugs. Says, as long as you pay his taxes and keep his peace in the way he likes to keep it, it's between you and him.
And what do you suppose would happen if the captain of his guard was found to contain this contract on his person or his quarters?
I imagine the poor fool would be placed in the stocks for a while and then possibly executed.
I don't see how that would really help us.
Well, then the guard would have no captain.
I mean, again, that doesn't really seem like that would help us.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of value in us hanging on this scroll.
Well, the point is we want to cause chaos within the household so that it's easier to get to Randus.
I think the best solution for that is to just keep it and hide it. Maybe throw it in the river if we don't want it on our person.
We could bury it. We could put it in a tree.
You could
Randus's men like looking in trees.
You could bake it in a pie, put it under a hat, hide it under a floorboard.
I like the pie idea. Victor kind of scratches his chin.
So what do you get from your master for taking care of Randus? And what obligation has he not fulfilled?
She thinks for a moment. Then she simply says, the difference between Randus and I is that I respect rules, and Randus breaks them. It will be a great source of honor and pleasure for me to bring him to justice.
Seems reasonable to me.
I mean, you're obviously incredibly, fantastically evil, but...
You say that to her?
Yeah, I do. I don't...
Makes a face. Says, that seems rather inappropriate.
Unseelie, more like.
Well, you didn't say it wasn't true.
Well, I would probably use the word unseelie.
Okay.
Which still probably kind of rude, but... I'll reiterate my earlier statement. Murder sounds good.
Do you want us to just sneak in through the window and slit his throat? Like, what are you thinking here? We set his manor on fire?
She tells you that she's not an assassin herself, but that once you have a plan in order, that she will be delighted to make herself available to you.
Oh, my apologies. I was actually asking Jeannie for her opinion on this. But it's great to know that you want to help.
So what's Jeannie's plan?
Well, we have all this dynamite, right?
Why did you tell her that?
He sees Atala feverishly taking notes.
If, like, actually she's taking notes?
No, but she's listening to every word you're saying.
I don't know. You just... Explosions are good.
Evie's getting a migraine.
There's that look. That's maximum Ruby right there.
Took you all night, but you got there.
I mean, like, I think the best thing we can do is possibly set up some kind of just trap. Yeah.
You want me to make a trap?
I probably am
We
better
know
at
if
it.
any of the vassals of Randus would be willing to pledge their loyalty to Evelyn instead, if he were to be dead.
I mean, what we can do is we can kill him and then bust into his house and declare that these lands belong to Evie Veritas.
It's possible, but none of these people know Evie.
But
And
they know that the Keltostravi are gone.
It's just as likely that they would tell Evie to her face that she's a friend, but then open you guys up to a lot of challenges later on.
Uh-huh.
Depends on how much of a headache you guys want.
It's murder all the way down.
Yeah.
But to tell if we want to get in touch with you, how would we contact you?
Is she staying in the alehouse?
She is, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Her lady will be staying in the room above the kennel.
So would it improve relations with your lady if I were to offer my rooms to her?
Perhaps, but it also may cause offense to Lord Randus.
After that wonderful gift he gave us tonight. such a generous host to let our people climb up the hill with buckets. It would be a shame if he was offended.
Do you know what the scrying devices inside the rooms are?
She shakes her head. She says that she knows that Randus has clairvoyant capabilities, but she doesn't know the exact nature of the ones he's using. She's pretty sure she's pretty confident, rather, that she moved through his house undetected. But she also has... she has access to magic and skills that you guys don't.
You know, Eugenia, I gotta say the dynamite doesn't sound like a half bad idea.
Well, what do we blow up in that situation?
Well, I suppose the problem with the dynamite is we might kill a lot of innocent bystanders.
We are dancing around the real issue here for that.
I mean, dynamite's pretty controlled. It doesn't have a huge explosion radius. It's it's like a 20-foot radius circle, more or less.
What if we just lock him in a room and then use our little water trick to drown him?
So I'll say to Tatala, like, you don't need to be burdened with the inanities of my family. You may feel free to depart, and we will get in contact with you when we have a firmer grasp of what our plan will be.
Very well. She reaches back, pulls her cloak back up over her horns and her face.
Good
I'll
evening.
take my leave. She leaves your room.
Okay. I'll wait a few minutes until I'm sure she's moved away. I say, Ekon, is she listening to us?
Detect magic across the room?
There's nothing in the room that wasn't there before.
She is setting us up.
Oh, of course. She's probably going to go tell Randus we're going to kill him right now.
No. Whoever she actually works for, she wants to kill Randus and get it pinned on us. We are the patsies.
Ooh.
That's what she's doing.
But the thing is like,
We still got to kill him.
who's going to come after us if we murder Randus?
Evelyn, potentially.
I mean, he doesn't strike me as a man that cares,
I think as long
as
as
evidenced by the contract.
Yeah,
And I pat my bag.
I think as long as we keep order, if we destroy it, basically, if you break it, you buy it. I think he'll be fine. He told us to go south and make it profitable and livable, right? If that requires that we destroy the kingdom to the north and take it over, that seems within his wheelhouse.
I'm not sure I want to rule all this. It seems like it's going to be a huge pain in the ass.
Hey, you want to
Yeah,
do
what do you think? What do you think ruling New Warren in 40 years is going to be like?
Well, hopefully it won't be a bunch of people trying to kill me and fighting over it.
I mean, I'd also, if you start to, I don't know, gain that much weight, I will be sure to let you know.
Dang. It's harsh.
So, are we going to kill him, or do we just want to try and turn his populace against him and cause chaos? Or what do we want to do?
So,
I would
Well, his
rather...
populace is already pretty well against him already as is.
I feel like a populist revolution is a better idea than just murdering him.
all right, we do have another option, right? We just...
Blow up the dam and leave?
Well,
That's
that's
not
not that's not a long-term solution.
Yeah, he'll just build another dam. And then he'll send soldiers down, which I think we can contain, because if that is the only path from his domain to ours.
Here's what I'd love to do, is if he sends his army to us, then we blow the dam, and then we solve both problems at the same time.
You do not understand how much water that is.
Guys, I need to step away for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of dead soldiers.
No, we convert the soldiers. We just solve a better deal.
Yeah, no, I think populist revolution is a better idea. Assassination feels like it's... I feel like we're getting played if we go that road. Like, Tatala, she wants Randus dead, I believe that, but that doesn't make her a friend, or doesn't mean she's on our side. She has her own agenda, and we are expendable within it.
how do you think you're going to start a populist revolution when 3 random people, who probably, from what we can tell from the people we've talked to already, didn't actually do anything, are sitting in the stocks right now for dissent?
But 3 random people also wanted to blow up the dam.
No, they wanted to spit in his eye as they died.
Yeah, but they wanted to blow up the dam and they do it. The point is they wanted to do something.
So, you know.
So I think if we can cause enough chaos where he basically loses it and starts slaughtering his own people, that would be terrible, but it would work. I don't suggest we do that, but
I think if we were to exert enough pressure on him that he feels like he's losing his grip on power, then we could.
why don't we just kidnap him? Oh wait, we can't lift that much.
Yeah, I don't think moving that much is good. Not with this party's strength.
We all strength dumped.
I mean, if we kill him, we can chop him into pieces and stuff him in the bag of holding. I think there's enough room in there.
Isn't only 500 pounds?
Yeah,
It's not
I don't have a whole lot in there at the moment.
Just, I don't like the idea of just murdering him. That feels wrong.
All right, my apologies. So have we decided that the Squelcher Lord is going to die?
I think we decided that we want to.
Let's democratically decide. Well, not decide. Let's just get like a general feel of where everybody's at on murder, yes or no. All right, I'll start first. Murder, yes.
Evie's gonna say murder, no. Soft no. Not hard no.
Victor says revolution first, murder second.
I think if you want to kill a snake, you cut off the head. I think Brandis has to go. These people suffer enough every day he's alive.
And again, this is not a democratic vote. This is not a vote. I just want to know where everybody's at.
Edmund, you are the tiebreaker in this extremely democratic vote.
I think that he needs to go. Agreed.
All right, so
Okay, so we're
how do we want to do that then? I feel like we're getting played if we go that direction, but I mean, you're not wrong that, you know, until he's gone, nothing is going to get better here, but I'm not convinced this is the right way to do it.
I think we kill him and we declare that his people are free of his tyrannical rule and make it very public that that's why he's dead and that's what's happened, and maybe things get better here.
How common of knowledge do you think it is that people know how to traverse the mists to come to our kingdom?
Can't be that uncommon.
The 3 people we met knew how to do it.
There have to be some number of guides and or Vistani that know too. It's not going to become lost knowledge or anything.
So if we kill him, we leave his land in chaos with the invitation of come south if you want.
I don't think so. I don't think that we should tell anybody we murdered him. I think we should do it and leave. But if we can take 10 minutes on the way out, I can get the message out.
I don't know if we want the message that we...
No, that he's dead, not that we killed him.
Given what we've seen in these lands so far, if people know that we killed him, that may not be a bad thing.
So is it fair to say that this conversation continues long into the night and then does not come to any more consensus without more information at hand?
I mean, I feel like we're pretty close to a consensus, but...
Are you?
So at some point during the long night, Victor wants to go check on the 3 guys, or the 4 guys that were chained up.
Well, we're going to finish up this scene and then call it for the
that's
session.
fine.
So, but I guess my question is, are we at a consensus? Like, do we know what we're going to aim at next session, or do we want to come in next session looking for more information to put?
I think we need a little more info than what we have, because Tatala, I don't think she's lying to us, but there's stuff that she's not telling us that could be very critical.
I think we need more information, but the general consensus is we are aiming towards murder.
I think we're going to murder him. We just need more information about the right way to do it.
Right. We need more information on the lay of the land.
Okay. Well, the good news is, Edmund, go ahead. What's your thought?
I was going to say the only other 2 points of business that I have is Number one, the magical tobacco that I picked up. I wanted Jeannie to take a look at it, and then also I wanted to bring up with my brother that I took a drawing of the village earlier today, and I saw something very distressing. And I'll show them the art, presumably with my friend on it.
Yeah, his friend's there, and he has decapitated one of the men in the stocks.
Is the man in real life also decapitated? That's what I want to know immediately.
No,
Why Victor wants to go check.
not as far as you could tell. They are left out there overnight, though. Like there's
Okay,
the force
I was
thing for
I was
us.
thinking this is some kind of Stephen King thing.
Yeah, Victor wants to try and free them in the middle of the night. But
If you die in the sketch, you die in real life.
Does
Yeah.
does Edmont have the death note?
As far
Why?
as so are you casting Identify
Yes,
on this
I
leaf?
yes, I'll take the time to do that ritual. I have that prepared.
It's fairly heady tobacco. There's nothing psychedelic about it. It's not going to alter your state of mind. However, it is magical. If you are to smoke of it, you would enjoy the protection of a non-detection spell
Ooh,
for 24 hours.
that is going to come into handy, I think.
Here's
Jeannie,
the thing:
make
is
an Arcana check.
that's actually really interesting, given what I know about him. And Edmont will bring up that this is part of his private reserve from this family.
Arcana check. Can I get assistance from Ekon?
I think Edmont might already be putting together what you're rolling for. Put it together, Finkenstein. What do you got?
But yeah, no. If this is what he's got, then he has this. This is all part of his private reserve, and that's basically where Edmont leaves it at. So
What I'm wondering is, why was it sold to you?
Because
Feel
he
like
bribed the kid.
Oh, okay.
because the kid wants us to go kill him. Because everybody wants him dead, just no one's willing to do it themselves. And we're the heroes that drove off the Keltrastravi.
Anyway,
Edmont, you don't think it's very likely that the kid knows it's magical. Whatever its properties
Yeah.
are, you're pretty sure the kid just thinks it's potent tobacco.
that was an 11 on my Arcana roll.
11, then no. You need Edmund's help to get the rest of the way then.
Okay, so basically he has this, and it lets him hide from his enemies. That
yes,
seems to be what it's for.
and then Edmont gestures toward the door
Yeah.
where she had departed.
So non-detection for the duration. The target is hidden from divination magic. Target cannot be targeted by divination magic or perceived through magical scrying sensors.
So this is something he uses to hide from his many, many enemies.
Yes.
So, one of the things that I'm going to just make a note of before we quit, like, we probably have enough between Ekon, me, and what you have, Edmont, plus this tobacco, we probably can layer enough magic on top of you to where you could get in and do anything we needed done.
He's a warlock. He's not going to be someone who just one of us could walk in and kill. It's going to be a fight to defeat him.
I mean, if we put a bomb under his bed, I think that'll get us a good chunk of the way there.
So,
But
but you guys are planning to
a
wait
little
up
bit
to
of light
tomorrow and see
terrorism.
what you can learn tomorrow before.
Yeah.
So the good news is,
When's the wedding?
well, the good news is you've got a couple of days till the wedding. Now that the last guests have arrived, the Lady Calaris was the last one, probably to delay the wedding as long as possible, just to spite him. Probably a couple of days of preparation. So when you guys depart tonight, when Evie and Victor head back up to the keep for the night and you guys retire, it's with the thought that you'll wake up tomorrow, you'll have some more time to gather information, to potentially make more allies amongst the nobility, to learn, to fill in the gaps of knowledge that you don't have yet. However, when you wake up the next morning, you learn that something has made Lord Randus very, very angry, and that he is insisting the wedding be held today. So all of his servants and everybody is scrambling to get the rest of the feast together for the wedding service this afternoon, and then the feast this evening. He's moved the timeline up
So
to
we're gonna
everybody's
have
surprise.
You
We're
don't
gonna have a
think
red
we
wedding.
have anything to do with that, do you?
Probably, but it's going to be a red wedding, so it's okay.
Is that a long rest, Brick?
Yeah, go ahead and take the benefits of a long rest.
Sorry, it really matters just because of the stupid spell I have to cast every day.
You have to
Like, I
cast.
actually do have to track my rests.
I mean, you don't have to cast it every day.
You just let Victor
Sure,
die.
hear that, Victor? I don't have to do anything I don't want to.
You don't, and I can tell the guy that whispers to me every night that I'm willing to take his deal.
So yeah, take the benefits of a long rest, and that's where we'll leave it. When you guys wake up tomorrow, you're going to have to scramble to get ready for this wedding. So in practice, you'll have time to take a morning action before the wedding in the afternoon. I don't need to go dark at all, because you guys didn't fight any. Well, you guys
You didn't
had,
fight anything.
you threw rocks and tomatoes and stuff at Victor. I have no idea why they did that. I think it says something about Victor's place in the pecking order of this party, though.
Victor's he's fine. He's in the top 6 of the pecking order of this party.
He's got a
Listen, I didn't do that. I just dodged.
We all know that
I was
Evie's
kinda
number 1.
nervous.
Who's number 0?
Ruby.
Ruby's number 0.
Air is number 0.
Orson is number 0.
All right.
Somebody's looking at my character sheet.
I do. Like, I got tired of, like, I hated playing the Sculpture Lord. This is the worst
Of course you did.
NPC I've ever developed.
That voice, man.
Man,
You don't have
Rickard,
to do the
you
voice.
really do need to. Yeah, I really suggest you go look up some cutscenes from Final Fantasy XIV with Vothri, because, oh boy, man, you actually kind of nailed it pretty well.
We're in Yulemore.
Yeah,
So the actual character I had in mind when I first wrote the adventure was, like I said, like Fat Denethor having a bad day. But
Yeah.
I've since played Disco Elysium, and there's like the communist union leader guy. Like, oh god, that's the Squelcher Lord. That just weaselly faced fat bastard just constantly talks in this condescending, aggrandizing tone of voice.
I haven't played Disco Elysium, but I can appreciate it.
See, I was thinking like Baron Harkis from Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? But this character was developed before I even saw Dune. But yeah, you know what? That's it. Also in the same ballpark. So, I thought it was a pretty fair bet that you guys would come out of one session having met him, planning to kill him, and I don't blame you.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, no,
I mean,
you had that pegged.
I mean, what are our options, really? Let him keep stealing our water, let him tax us, and let him, just
Walk all
torture his
over us?
people?
So, who wants to make a
Yes.
case for some blips?
I'll go first.
Evie.
You messed with my family, you messed with me for coming to Victor's aid against the guards when they were about to arrest him or put him in the stocks.
Now, would you characterize that as coming to Victor's assistance, or would you characterize that as stopping Victor from making a mess of things?
It might be a little of column A, a little column B, maybe a little more of one of those columns than the other, maybe a lot more.
You stopped Victor from sneak attacking this dude.
Por que no los dos? What else did you have for me?
I must become a leader that others can believe in for suspecting that Tatala is playing us.
You think so?
I think so. And last but not least, Flaw, no one understands for everyone kind of getting mad at her for kind of cutting off negotiations because she saw no point.
Tatala is also based on a character, but she's like a self-insert because she's based on the first 5th edition character I played, who was also a Tiefling Warlock.
So you remember how there's a magical girl in each campaign who the DM really likes?
No, that's in
So-
Ravenfloft Stroy. This is Ravenloft. they do it different in Ravenfloft.
I could go next.
Jeannie, what you got?
Chaotic good. When in doubt, go with your gut. For first person to hit him gets 3 bits. Okay, and I pick up a rock and hucked it.
And you didn't hit him, so you didn't get 3 bits.
I didn't get the 3 bits, but the important thing is I tried.
It's every shot you don't take.
Yeah, exactly. Ideals, practical solutions to impractical problems. Yeah, murder sounds good. It's a very practical solution.
Okay.
My flaw, don't worry about it, was just a setback for getting back at that guy for making fun of my sister by making his shirt smell like poo.
That was gross. And probably
And-
unnecessary.
You just described every character I've ever designed. Gross and unnecessary.
Gross and unnecessary.
And the video.
Excellent. Who's next?
I guess Victor can
Oh,
go.
no.
Victor, I heard you first.
So for alignment, the ends justify the means. That would be wanting to kill Randus at the end.
So the ends in this case are getting your water back.
Not just getting our water, but freeing the people from oppression.
Is that like your first,
I
second,
mean,
third,
we're
or
all looking at this, society, and none of us are pleased with how it seems to be being run.
Yeah. So the ideal seek the truth no matter the cost. That would be embracing his role as a servant to try and get information about Randus and governing from inside the party. Failing miserably, of course. And for the flaw, values knowledge over people. That would be going up on the pillory to try and figure out how it would be possible to free these poor souls that are being chained up for just doing what God wanted and fornicating.
Are you still planning on doing that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That'll be interesting. And Edmont, I think you had something.
Yeah. I have my alignment, lawful neutral, take everything you can, get nothing back for sticking it to the Lord of the Land for taking his tobacco.
Well, a pinch of it at least.
At least. Take everything I can, so life is my canvas. I will make my mark on it for taking the drawing of the village square.
And you were changing your flaw, yes?
Yes, and I have it now. This world is filled with predators and prey, and I sure as hell am not the prey.
All right, I have typed that.
Thank you.
Okay. So I've got my flaw. I'm sure there has to be something just get over that this next hill for his opinion that if we just kill Randus, the next lord can't be possibly any worse.
That's a dangerous assumption.
And then I've got lawful good, the shining words of air, lay down a path for us all, for his dumbstruck horror at the mismanagement of these lands.
Well, to be fair, the lands themselves seem to be managed fine. I mean, they're well irrigated.
Sure. Yeah, sorry, more the people.
The people leave something to be desired, yes.
They do.
Yes.
Every
Very lawful, very not good.
Is that it?
There's no partial credit in the eyes of air. Yes.
All right.
no partial credit in the eyes
Who had the most
of Kara.
creative solution to a problem this session?
I would like to propose Evie using the power of the mastermind to channel Ruby.
Yeah, no, I thought that was amusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
And who did the most to further the party's goals?
Victor. Victor was mostly all over the place this session.
Yeah, but you threw a rock at him.
He deserved it.
Did he?
Oh,
Did he
probably.
really?
Truthfully, yeah, he always deserves rock being thrown at him, though.
We're good with Victor getting the assist?
Yep.
Who was the badass?
I want to Eugenia for offering TNT as a solution to the assassination.
Murder sounds
The
good.
idea of planting TNT underneath his bed and blowing him up, that's the idea that I was getting, and that's from her, and I'm like, oh wow, that's distressing, but also hilarious.
Genie might be secretly Wile E.
Evil?
Coyote.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
I mean, she's not evil yet.
And like
But
she's chaotic neutral, so when she turns
she's-
evil,
Yeah, she's chaotic neutral.
How will we even notice?
you all laughed at Denny when I told you he was chaotic evil. I'm like, oh, cute. What about
Well-
intangibles?
Tangible.
I had down Victor for interrupting Tenalia and saying, "I'm sorry. I was talking about murdering Randus with, not with you."
I'm okay with that.
Okay. And Jeannie has our straw poll blip. There may or may not be combat next week, depending on how you guys choose to... how it all falls out, we'll have to see. Blips right now are worth 366. Y'all are still level 7, is that correct?
366.
Yes.
Yes.
So everybody's sitting on 6. So, Edmont, you earned 2. Ekon, you earned 2. Evie earned 4. Jeannie and Victor both earned... No, I'm sorry. Jeannie earned 6 this week and Victor earned 5. And you have to roll all of those over. That's just pure experience
Okay.
for role-playing encounters and...
Level 8 is 3,400.
34,000.
Well, yeah, 34,000. Yeah. So I need.
I should award Evie an extra blip for cutting the conversation with the Squelcher Lord short so I could stop doing the voice. It's really annoying to do that voice.
Seriously,
How long did you expect me to sit there and let him listen to us insult me?
Man, I don't know, dude. Sometimes I have encounters that I think are going to go quick, and you guys drag them out for 40 minutes asking irrelevant questions about every conceivable topic.
I wanted to drag that one out just so you had to do the voice longer. I'm not gonna lie.
There was nothing to be gained. Like, seriously, there was nothing to be gained in that conversation, right?
No.
No, I don't have
No.
quite enough to get the next level.
Okay.
Probably next level you will.
Are you all coming in
next
next
session.
week with 6 blips?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Then when we
need
come
5.
back next week, it looks like Victor's going to do some late night shenanigans with the pillory.
Are we playing
Yep.
next week? Is it next week Easter?
Or do you celebrate Easter?
I do.
Do you? There's like a house down the road from me that has like all the Christmas decorations out, but they're Easter decorations, like the big Costco Easter bunny and stuff in the front lawn. It's very weird. Well, in any event, that's it for this week. Thanks for playing, guys.
All right.
Yep.